12 teams representing some of the biggest cities around the world. 72 of the world's most talented poker players with over $350 million in combined lifetime earnings will put everything on the line over 8 months to compete for the title of the first ever GPL World Champions. Which team has what it takes? The Global Poker League starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Global Poker League. We are live this Tuesday evening. I'm Laura Cornelius, joined by Eric Danny, the GPL Insider. It's already week 4. It's gone so fast. We had a great week last week though.
That's right, the battle of the, or I guess the six max battles. We had Tyler Kenny and Felipe Ramos go head to head, so it'll be interesting to see which of these 4 matches will try to get as good as those were.
Indeed, today it's 6 max action again, so let's take a look at some of our players who will be playing today. Of course, we've got the Eurasian first starting out. That will be at midday Eastern time, and then we have some America's conference battling it out for you as well. Who are you most excited to see today?
There's a lot of players. I think Jason Lavallee comes to mind. Jason playing his first match in the Americas later on today. I think he'll be very intriguing to see. That a lot has been said about the wild card for the Americans. How about the debut of the 2 team managers? That'll be interesting to see as well.
Yeah,
we'll see Selena Lynn and Anatoly Filatov at the same table. That's going to be some exciting times. Twitch love, some Twitch love for Mr. Jeff Gross. That'll come in that second matchup there, and the return of Christopher Moorman after a less than stellar 5th place finish in his first 6 max a few weeks ago. So it'll be interesting to see Mr. Moorman at it there.
We had some great matches last week. We mentioned briefly about the the Six Max, obviously with Tyler Kenny doing great first and second place, and then Felipe also doing the first and the second. But we had some awesome heads-up matches as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw George Dancer win a match in one hand, Laura. That was exciting. And against a player that most would think is probably one of the top players in the league, Igor Kurganov. His first-round selection merits that. But just a tough time for him in that event. So quite spectacular heads-up matchup between the two. George Dancer sweeping that match, which is kind of scary.
Amazing. We also saw Bryn Kenny in action for the very first time. That was last Thursday for the Americas heads up, which was really fun to watch because he just went for it, didn't he?
Yeah, it's always good when matches are as advertised, and we were really pushing that match, you and I, Laura, and it did not fail to. I mean, that was a spectacular match. Bryn Kenny basically as a prize fighter, as a heavyweight prize fighter, just swinging at each hand, but Pascal Lefrançois refusing to step down, not worried whatsoever in that battle. And for Pascal, a beautiful 2 out of 3 wins. Could have been 3 straight, but Bryn scooping up one of those victories. So just a great matchup there.
And how could we possibly forget Jungle Man being back last week versus Nananoku?
This might be the last time we see Jungle Man for a while. I mean, he's played a lot of matches already, and it's just not worked out for him. Spectacular to watch on camera. Doesn't get any better than Jungle Man. And I guess Nanonoko met his match when it comes to on-air time. But boy, I mean, Jungle Man really did play very well. And I think even Nanonoko will realize that he might have been lucky in some of those situations to actually squeak out 2 of those 3 wins. But boy, we all feel bad for the Jungle at this point.
Talking of Jungle Man, obviously he's a Berlin Bear. Jeff Gross is a Berlin Bear too. He's making his debut this evening in the Six Max. Which types of poker formats is he normally used to playing? Is he a Six Max player?
Yeah, I'd say more full ring. Full ring is what he's used to, so it'll be fun to see him play in this format. Absolutely. A lot of finals and a lot of top 10 finishes at the World Series of Poker in the last few years. So Gross definitely is someone that a lot of people were waiting to see. Very loved on Twitch. That'll be exciting to see as well, to see the Twitch fans coming to the side of the Berlin Bear.
He's very talkative, Jeff Gross, so I'd be interested to see him on webcam. Hopefully we will at some point this evening. If you haven't joined us before, obviously we get to see the players playing and their thought process as they're talking about their hands, but normally in the Six Max events we are normally just focusing on two of the players, and then as they bust out, obviously we'll get the 2 as they go heads up as well.
Yeah, so the plan is to start with Jeff and with Selena Lynn to start with, so we'll see how that pans out.
Well, Celina is making her debut as well, and she's a manager, as is Anatoly Filatov. So yeah, two more manager debuts this evening.
And 2 managers who are guiding teams that are in great shape right now in the standings. So a little like Fabrice Soulier last week, there's a lot of pressure on these team managers to continue what the teams have been building for them to, they've almost set it up for them to be successful. And if they are unfortunate, like Fab Soul last week, to pick up just 1 or 2 points, that's going to affect them in the standings as well.
Yeah, we didn't really mention that, but obviously Fabrice Soulier only able to pick up 1 point for his Paris Aviators team, but George Danza obviously securing 9, so it didn't really matter.
He did his part.
Right, we're going to head over to the desk now to Griffin and to Sam, who are going to run through some key highlights from last week.
Thanks so much, Laura. Yeah, we're back. It's week 4 of the GPL. I'm Griffin Benger. This is Sam Grafton joining me as always. We had a slew of great matches last week. A lot of highlights for you coming up. It just keeps on getting better like every single week at the GPL, in my opinion. My working man opinion. Completely unbiased, completely objective.
Yeah, it was an exciting week last week. Opened up with the Six Max matches. Liv Barry making an immediate impact as team manager. Andrzej Patichuk as well, securing points for the Wolverines. Celina and Anatoly going to be looking to follow in her footsteps and make an impact as managers. One manager that didn't make as much of an impact, Fabrice Soulier, not securing many points for the Paris Aviators.
It was really ladies' night in a couple of these matches. I mean, we saw the performance of Xuan Liu, of course, Kitty Kuo, Liv Barry, as you're seeing on the footage right now. It was she played excellently, really represent the London Row as well.
And also the story of the GPL so far, Dan Cates' bad run of form continuing, out only securing a single point for the Berlin Bears, considered by many to be amongst the best poker players in the world, but not a great start from him. Here was Liv Barry, though, who did get off to a great start winning the second six-max match for the London Royals.
Yeah, ripe for parody to Daniel Cates, obviously. The in-joke of the league so far. The guy's so talented, but hasn't been working out. Tyler Kenny, Felipe Ramos, really the two stories of this particular match, right, Sam?
Yeah, Tyler Kenny, drafted as a wild card by his brother, Bryn Kenny, the manager of the New York Rounders, winning the first match with Felipe Mojave Ramos coming second. And then those roles were reversed, as you see here in the second match. Felipe spiking a 3 on the flop and a 3 on the turn.
And Eminem clearly getting...
to give the Sao Paulo Mets the win. And really impressive by those guys, 12 points apiece.
And there he is again. There's Daniel Cates facing off against Randy Liu. A couple of really, humorous hands. Of course, the misclick with the Diet Coke chug and then the all-in wasn't Cates' day, as per usual.
And Randy Liu really having the time of his life, enjoying himself, laughing all the way, really contrasting stories. Here, Randy made a brave call off with King Jack suited, was flipping, spiked to Jack, and it looked like it was going to be another 0 points for Dan Cates, but a 6 on the turn, rescued him. So he did secure 4 points for the Berlin Bears, but disappointing in general.
Yeah, highlight of the week for me was, of course, this match between Igor Kurganov and George Danzer. When you talk about masterclass of high-stakes poker, these two guys really showed what makes them so special, their thought process. George Danzer rolling the dice, the randomizations, everything, just cold-calling hand ranges. He really impressed me in particular, and Igor not able to get a single point for the London Royals despite coming in as a favorite.
And then Sergei Lebedev, the second time we saw him. Tim Adams also both defeated in their opening matches. Was a 10-1 this one. Tim, I believe, got off to the best start with 3 points on the board, but Sergei Lebedev stormed back. Here we're going to see him get a little bit lucky, rivering a flush with just the measly 3 of clubs, but it was good enough. And he reigned victorious for the Wolverines. And still a bit of a slow start for the Rome Emperors.
Yeah, and such a charming interview afterwards, of course, with his wife. The next match, of course, was Jonathan Little, a fan favorite amongst many people in the sort of the learning community against the kind of stoic Joe Bauer. What do you think of this match?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Little showed something quite, I was going to say a little of what he's going to offer to the GPL. He's going to be someone that's going to share his strategy. Obviously, incredibly articulate about what it takes to be a top-class poker player. We were able to take a backseat, and he led things, from that point of view, sharing with us his knowledge about the game.
And a big fan of Hold'em X.
Yes.
This match, of course, was Kachalov against Faraz Jaka. Pretty interesting matchup. What did you really take from this one?
Faraz, it was great to see him on the web camera for the first time. He's someone, he's from San Francisco. He's the manager of his hometown franchise. That's really exciting. You can see how much passion he's going to bring to the thing, to the GPL. So that was really good.
Yeah, and I think what's fun too about his sort of his namesake being the homeless millionaire. You never know what you're going to expect when you see him on the webcam, where he'll be. He was there talking about where he was, wearing the robe. Just a great character for the GPL, and of course for the San Francisco Rush.
Yeah, and also they're a franchise that need the points as well. 6 points, definitely very valuable.
Now this match, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of my highlights of the week. Bryn Kenny, I said before the match, I hyped him a lot, and he didn't disappoint. Such a character in the game. Really came in all guns blazing.
Yeah.
But Pascal Lefrancois, not someone that's going to be trifled with in the GPL. Pascal didn't get rattled. Bryn had the momentum in the early matches, but Pascal just waited till he made a hand and picked Bryn Kenny off. It's all very well and good trying to run over your opponents, but, Bryn's used to running over softer players than Pascal Lefrancois.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, situations, of course, with Bryn where he's so used to just running people over, and Pascal, it's just about the different styles that can kind of battle against each other. There's really no right way to play poker, especially tournament poker, and these two showed that pretty contrasting styles. Obviously, Pascal, more controlled aggression in certain spots, but in this match, we really saw the bulldozer that is Bryn Kenny, and really all of the New York Rounders against the very kind of, tempered.
Bryn is going to be a fan favorite with new viewers to the GPL. Maybe some of the newer poker fans don't know much about him, but, he gave a little flavor there of what makes him such an exciting poker talent, and we can expect more from that in the coming weeks.
The good fellas, the New York Rounders. I love them. We got a slew of great matches here today. Anything you want to say before we throw to the lounge and they talk about it?
Yeah, of course, it's Six Max Day is always an exciting day,
Yeah.
particularly as we're still seeing debuts. Anatoly Filatov, Selena Lynn, Jeff Gross. You know, we're going to know a lot more about the caliber of players in these teams. We're going to have fans of the GPL, maybe having a little flutter with friends on who's going to win the conferences. We're going to have a lot deeper understanding of these franchises, particularly with the managers coming into play. Anatoly and Celina, I'm going to be really interested to see how they perform and what sort of level they're at in these Six Max matches.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of new players today to look forward to. Obviously Scott Ball, for instance. Jeff Gross is going to be making his debut. He's someone who, a lot of you may have seen sort of in the Party Poker Premier League, that sort of thing. But for now, we are going to throw to the lounge and talk to Laura and Eric.
Thank you so very much. So we chatted just a little bit about Fabrice Soulier, only able to score 1 point for the Aviators last week. But apart from that, the Aviators did pretty well and are still managing to hold on to the top spot in
Yeah,
Eurasia.
Paris by far the team to beat so far this season. A lot of teams are close to Paris, but it's just been a really impressive performance so far by the Aviators, sitting on top of the Eurasian Conference. So sitting pretty. Maybe some points from Lunea tonight will really set them apart from the other teams in the conference.
Selena Lynn's Hong Kong Stars held the lead for one game, was it?
Yeah, it was one game, and then Mr. Danzer just ruined it, right? Randy Liu gave the advantage to the team, and then totally ruined by Randy Liu. And Randy Liu again, who's been just active. We're going to see him again this week, Laura.
Yeah,
so he's
I'm
played
really
every
excited
single
for
week,
tomorrow.
and boy, he's just playing so well. Why not just leave him in there?
And Berlin Bears, unfortunately, not able to score many points at all last week, which leaves them right at the bottom of the table. We're going to take a look at the Eurasia standings as they are. Let's see who has the points. So as we said, Aviators on top, 3 points clear now of the Stars, which means, Stars could easily take the lead today.
Yeah, well, especially with Selena Lynn on the docket.
She'll want this
it's
for
up to
her
her.
team,
So
yeah.
Yeah, if Selena Lynn can end this day in the lead, I think that's going to be great motivation for that Hong Kong Stars team throughout the season.
So Stars on 37, Moscow Wolverines on 35 points, London Royals on 28. We saw a great show from Liv last week, winning the Six Max. Rome Emperors.
It's a good thing that she did win those 7 points. You can see how crucial those points were. I think London, so far in the Eurasia Conference, probably the disappointment of the season, just not the results that they were expecting. We're all expecting London. Most of the prognosticators saw London first. So, we'll have to see what happens next. I think Rome a little disappointed too.
Yeah.
They had the #1 pick, and it's just not there yet. We'll have to see what happens. As for Berlin, it's been great for Nietzsche and really not good for Dan Cates, so they'll have to mix things up, and I think Jeff Gross is a good start today.
So Rome Emperors on 27 points. Still no win though.
Only team in the league without a win.
Yeah. And we will see Walter Treccarichi, like my pronunciation, in action today in the Six Max.
He returns. That's right. We saw him the first week, and I think he played really well. I think he might have surprised quite a few people. Not much known from Treccarichi, but really some solid showings by him in the first week.
I'm kind of hoping that Rome can get a win soon. Hopefully this week.
Well, we all hope that, right? I mean, to be honest, as a fan, you want the most parity possible. You want every single team to have a shot at first, coming into every week. So of course, we'd like to see some Rome love.
Indeed. Right, let's take a look now at the Americas Conference standings after last week's action as well. New York Rounders were on top. They still are 2 points clear of the Nationals. Montreal Nationals came into last week as the leaders from the Rounders, but they took it over again thanks to, Tyler Kenny, really, wasn't it?
Right, and then the disappointing results from Timex, went hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think Montreal, you can see how effective or how important those 6 points from Le François were. Just 2 points behind, they could have been way far. If this would have been a sweep for Bryn Kenny, New York could have suddenly been way ahead of everyone else in this conference. So just good showing by Le François last week. We'll see Jason Lavallee come in for the Montreal Nationals this week. That's right, the wild card. And Las Vegas still in there, still working, still looking really good.
We'll see Scott Ball as well debut today.
That's right.
First in the Six Max, and then also on Thursday in the heads-up match
against
too.
Lavallee, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
to
really
see.
interesting.
That happens. The Twitter war has already started between those two.
Okay, that's LA Sunset with 28, and the Sao Paulo Mets also on 28 there as well. Let's take a look at the top scorers so far. We have Randy Liu at the top, 18 points. I mean, it's fair to say, though, He has played probably more games than anyone else. So.
Yeah, he's played 3 matches, and then of course a total of 9 games so far. So yeah, I think we'll see this top scores list. We'll see a lot of the heads-up players. It's easier to score some points, just not that big 7 points. So
yeah.
I think it's normal what we see here. We see mostly the heads-up players in there. Although Nietzsche and Troinovsky, played some both in a week.
Yeah.
So really impressive to see them both.
We've only seen Nietzsche for 1 week, so that's
right.
kind of more impressive in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, 15 and 14 points on 1 week's work is very good for those 2 teams. And you can see in the standings, I mean, if it weren't for those 15 points from Dominic Nietzsche, who knows where the Berlin Bears would be in the standings.
Indeed. Olivier Bousquet was on the table there as well, who we will come back to a little bit later on because he was involved in quite the punch-up just last week. But we're going to go back to the desk at this moment. Back to you, Sam and Griffin, for a little bit of match analysis.
Thanks again, Laura. The prognosticators. What a great word. Did you hear him say that? I love that. Are you a prognosticator? I've never prognosticated myself. I mean, maybe I have. I don't know what the word. I mean, I kind of get it, the context, but.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Eric Denis, a very learned man.
Okay, so let's prognosticate about this match right now. Who do we got here? Okay, let's go.
Let's talk about Jeff Gross for a moment.
Okay.
He's coming in. The Berlin Bears already 18 points off the lead. Obviously, Philip Grusom has put together a great home game lineup, but they really need to start delivering in terms of points. Jeff Gross coming in today. Obviously, he's someone that signed up for Twitch. He's part of that Twitch revolution and already beginning to post results. I saw he came 3rd in the Sunday 500 pretty recently. But what we got to learn is, can he deliver on the GPL stage? Because someone needs to do something pretty quickly other than Dominic Nietzsche.
Yeah, obviously, Philip Grusom throwing Jungleman in the fire 4 different times hasn't worked out. He needs the rest of the team to really pick up the slack. Jeff Gross is a great candidate for that. This is a kid who wins. His name on PokerStars, Kid Who Won. I mean, he really is someone, the professional best friend. You see him going all around the world with guys like Bill Perkins. He's definitely someone that I'm excited to see in action. What is this guy really about? How good is he at poker? I want to know. And today's the day I think we learned that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely someone that's used to those elite fields.
Yeah, exactly.
Small elite fields.
Super high rollers.
So this hopefully should play to his strengths.
Definitely. Let's see Chris Moorman. Obviously, you're a fan favorite. He's a fan favorite of yours.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is a guy who has come out of the online generation and really set a distance between himself and his counterparts in terms of results. He's someone that does approach the game as a sport in many ways. He's someone that can play a 10K 1 week and then play an 8 rebuy just a couple of days later.
The 1 rebuy, X2, 3X turbo.
Exactly. So, this sporting format should be something that really fires the imagination of Chris Moorman and gets him excited, and London Royals with a formidable lineup, and I'm sure Chris will be looking to make an impact today.
Yeah, and 4.1 million in live, but how about the online scores?
Yeah,
over $10 million. I mean, this guy's earned a bunch of cash, and he's definitely one of the superstars of London Royals. Let's move on to the next player on our list. Obviously, Walter Treccarichi. He was there in the very first match of the GPL. For all you trivia buffs out there, what do you think of his play?
Yeah, I really liked how he played. I think Max Pescatori, in putting together his lineup, obviously he has those big players up front, Dario Sammartino and Mustafa Canet, but I really like his choice of Volta. He seemed to play really well. And why not, as your 4th round draft pick one of the emerging stars of the Italian poker scene? And Volta seems to be grasping this opportunity, on the bigger stage to make a name for himself. And, hopefully he can continue his good play that we saw from last week today.
Yeah, and clearly poker is not just for us adults; it's also for the 13-year-old boys. Obviously, Volter looks pretty young. Let's move on to the rest of the lineup here. Alexandre Leno, we've seen this guy in action. He's got the wine bottles in the back. I'm hoping we'll have him on webcam again today. Huge pedigree, just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a cash game player, as I've said time and time again, within the poker community, online cash game players tend to be thought of as, the most skillful poker players. The question which we're going to see Alexandre trying to answer today is, how good is his shorter stack game? Obviously, in the early levels, you can expect to see him mixing it up, trying to play a lot of pots when he can leverage his skill advantage. The question is, when it comes to the push-fold part of the game, has he worked enough on his ranges? That's going to be the big question I'm going to be asking about Leno today.
I love how you said mixing it up, and he's a mixing game player. That's good. Super meta. Everyone got it. You're so clever. Let's talk about Anatoly Filatov. He is the manager of the Moscow Wolverines. Look at that smile. He's a guy that was wearing the sunglasses indoors at the draft, really committed to the league, to Russia, to Moscow, and a lot of success mostly online, but he's ready to take it to the live arena here.
I mean, I'm super excited if we can get him on the web camera. He's an unorthodox, unconventional, eccentric kind of a character, and sometimes that doesn't go hand in hand with playing an eccentric style on the felt, but I think in the case of Anatoly, it actually does. He's someone that is very creative, is very exciting to watch, does approach the game perhaps in a slightly different way to a lot of MTT regulars. We're going to learn a lot about him today, and another person we're going to learn a lot about is Selena Lynn.
Yeah, Selena Lynn, the very sort of controversial draft selections that she made, just in the sense of keeping it so local, not going after any of the heavy hitters, even though obviously in the first round, she could have maybe gone in a different direction. It's proven right so far. We've seen a lot of interesting characters. Obviously, Raiden Khan and the likes have performed very, very well. So I'm really curious to see her actually play because I don't know much about her game.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong Stars have got off to a great start, and now Selena Lynn can keep that momentum up. Will be attempting to keep that momentum today. We're going to see an interview with her in just a minute. She's spoken with passion and commitment about her commitment to the GPL, her commitment to her franchise, and her commitment to her teammates. Today's her opportunity to add to the Hong Kong points.
Yeah, and a massive
and
market.
She's going to be desperate to do that.
Yeah, everyone in China, Hong Kong, they love poker. So let's talk to Selena. Not us, but Eric and Laura.
Thank you so very much. We are about to see if Selena Lynn, manager of the Hong Kong Stars, is on the line on Skype. Are you there, Selena? Looking beautiful. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you though.
Oh, as long as you can hear me, that's the main thing. Selena, you are second in the Eurasian Conference right now, 3 points beneath the Aviators. You took the lead just briefly last week. How are you feeling about how it's gone and where you're standing?
Well, I couldn't ask for better. And, to me, I feel like I did a good draft, but at the same time, my teammates have really held their own each week. And especially, Nenonoko with the head matches, he's done absolutely awesome. So, yeah, really looking forward to staying on the top.
Selena, do you feel any extra pressure since you just mentioned your team has done so well? Is there extra pressure now that the team manager is playing? You need to make sure to pick up some more points today.
I feel like there's actually more pressure because the girls have done extremely well in the GPL matches. I think, there's been wins out of 7 matches so far, 6 or 7. So that's a really sick percentage. So, in terms of that, I definitely want to do well. I definitely feel like this is the most nervous I've ever been going into a tournament. And I've played tournaments like 30K US buy-in, and it's actually crazy to feel this nervous. But I really, really feel it.
How much prep have you done on the players who you're up against today?
I'm not going to give you guys too much inside information to that, to which I reads on, but I've watched some of the GPL matches, so I do have a couple of reads on the players I don't know very well, and I'm looking forward to playing with Jeff Gross as well, which is a fellow streamer.
Selena, do you anticipate? What about your strategy? I mean, you're talking about other people, how they're playing. You've seen a lot of these matches. Do you think that you might play differently than you probably would have during week 1 of the GPL?
That's an interesting question. I feel like I would probably use the same strategy going forward. I do think that week 1 may make me even more nervous. Because, Jungleman Dan has come up with 0 points in so many of his 6 max matches. I feel like I'm not going to be able to really the same, so I feel better about that.
Obviously, Nenonoko is playing Elki tomorrow as well. Has there been much interaction with him about that? Anything we can expect from tomorrow's heads-up match?
Well, actually, we've all been really good friends for a very long time. This match has been set up. I do think that there's a lot of shit talk that's been happening between Elki and Randy. As you guys probably follow their Twitter, there's a lot of back and forth, whether it's on Hearthstone you know, whether it's poker, whether, you know, just life in general. And no, it's always very fun to watch those two going at it.
Thank you so much, Selena Lynn, manager of the Hong Kong Stars. We wish you all the best of luck in that 6max match. It's starting very soon, so we'll let you prepare.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Selena Lynn there of the Hong Kong Stars. She's going to be playing for her team today. It's the first time we have seen her in action here at the Global Poker League, so expect some interesting play coming up very, very soon. We're heading back to the desk now, back to Griffin and to Sam, and we're going to be leading into play.
Well, Selena Lynn is the sweetest thing I've ever seen. She's so excited about this, and we're going to see her in action against some pretty tough company.
Yeah, I mean, the most exciting thing for me is the 3 debutantes on the GPL stage. You know,
I love when you say that word. Sorry to interrupt.
Really giving us an understanding of what these franchises are about, and a better understanding of, you know, who are the favourites in this conference. And the other thing to say is, in a way, it's almost a second debut for Chris Moorman, because he came in, if you remember, he only played the second 6max match in, I believe it was week 2. Exited pretty early in 5th place. So we haven't actually seen much from the great Moorman. Hopefully, you know, I'm a big London Roars fan, obviously, as it's my home city. I'm a big fan of English poker, which Moorman represents. So it's going to be really exciting to see Chris Moorman really try and make an impact on the GPL stage, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and someone who's probably even a little bit responsible for you even being here, someone that you really looked up to and watched play. You might even say that, you know,
it's not
a stretch, no? Let's get to the match, guys. They're all waiting for us, and I want to see who we got on the cam. It looks like we got Selena Lynn and Jeffrey Gross. Of course, a pool in the background. You know, he just makes sure subtly that we just see he's in paradise.
That he's living the baller lifestyle. And not
sure
surprised.
if I'm on here.
Surprised to see a loose open from Anatoly.
It's hard to tell.
And the no with a solid fold.
Really putting the no.
First
in
hand, the
no.
king deuce. Gonna let it go.
And I think we can see.
Can't tell if I'm on the call or not. I think it says I'm connected, so.
Someone tell Jeff we can hear him.
Expect Moorman to mess with me early, so we're gonna play snug, as expected. I can't tell if I'm online or not.
Yeah, that is a tightish fold from Jeff on the button with Jack 9 off, saying he's going to make a slight adjustment because Chris Moorman, known as a very, very aggressive online player, on his left. For those of you newer to poker, Chris Moorman, the most winning player in the history of online poker. And Selena Lynn.
Good, how's it
Ding,
going?
ding, ding. Selena ding, ding, ding with this
What's
flop.
The nuts are butter.
Here, yeah. You text her.
And not even a frown after flopping the nuts and not getting a nibble from the Wolverine.
Here we go, more. Treccarichi coming in for an open, which is pretty standard with 2 6s. And Chris Moorman, if anyone's extremely new to poker, this is the best hand possible in No Limit Hold'em pre-flop. The bullets, the boots, the American Airlines. See how enthusiastic I am here on a Tuesday afternoon.
The what's the one that I always use? Getting it.
And Selena Lynn.
The
I was
weapons.
probably going to call pre-flop.
What are you here for?
In position, but now since Chris has gone up and re-raised, I'm just going to let it go here. I mean, we could flat here, but you know, with Walter behind, him possibly 4-betting, so he's happy to just let it go.
Solid strategy from Selena. Saying that
helps.
Volta may re-raise again pre-flop and not guaranteed to see the flop with two deuces. And Volta with a good fold. And nice start for Chris Moorman.
Very nice start for Chris Moorman.
He hates kings.
8-3 off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hates them. Calls them the butchers. What
The
a life!
butchers,
But
I
being
love
being
that.
dealt aces and kings back to back is actually pretty unusual.
I think
the
we're going to get
odds.
some Celina
I'm
strategy
gonna
here.
opt to just flat razor.
I just text her for you.
And we know that Celina is in very, very bad shape against this particular holding. There are hands, of course, where she'd be in far better shape.
Yeah, it's interesting when you see the whole cards things, and there's Chris getting butchered by Walter right out the gate. He does have the
Because
backdoor
obviously we
spades.
didn't
but-
really connect with the ball. So he probably will see it, and I'm gonna go ahead and.
Ten of spades for a little sweat on the.
Oh, wow.
So we
One
turn the
outer.
king
Amazing.
for second pair.
One card in the deck would give Chris Moorman the strongest hand here.
Yeah, and an interesting spot because normally after it checks through, Celina should imagine that she might even be good on this turn card. Walter's range could be anything from 7-8 off to 10-6 suited. Whereas with Chris checking the flop, it makes it for an interesting spot. Obviously we know she's losing quite badly.
Drawing absolutely stone dead, in fact. You can see 0% next to the names of Walter and Celina. Not enviable.
No, it's very
positions at all.
likely that Walter could have an ace. Now Moorman goes and raises it up on the turn. I think we can just let it go. But I'm actually surprised to actually see Moorman playing. I'm curious what hand he has to play it this way. Probably hit an ace on the flop. Actually, growing up, Moorman was always the guy I felt like was the MTT player. So it's a privilege to play with him on the GPL.
And Walter called, and now he would chop with any ace except ace king, ace nine, or ace deuce. Chris Moorman loving life here. Only loses to aces, which presumably no one has, and pocket deuces. And he's going to be putting in some kind of value bet on the river. He'll just be working through, deciding what sizing to go for. And I really like this sizing.
Yeah, I think it's a great bet.
Yeah.
Because it still looks like it could certainly be bluffy. If he bets anything under 4,500, I think it looks a little too strong. And it looks a little too strong if he bets bigger than this. So it's
And
very
a lot of the time, he's going to have just an ace and be
Ace
wanting
queen,
to
yeah.
take him off a chop. And so Walter's got to decide at what frequency he calls here. And not an enviable position for Walter.
Yeah, it's like he's asking himself, what am I really losing to here? I should be chopping a fair bit. I lose to pocket nines. Does he check that on the flop, hoping Celina bets? Deuces are less likely because now that would be quads, with just blockers. So a really interesting spot here for Walter.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be calling with a relatively high frequency, hoping for a chop.
Yeah.
But it would be a very, very excellent fold by the young Italian.
Yeah, really. These are terrible positions to find yourself in as no limit hold'em player when you're calling, and a lot of the time you're calling to win half the pot. It's a very tough mathematical decision.
Yeah.
He does make the call,
Wow.
and Celina recognizes Chris hit a one outer on the turn, and
It's one king left in the deck.
yes, as Celina says, and the great start of Chris Moorman in this match continues.
Yeah, and for those of you not aware of who Chris Moorman is, we did talk about him in the preview a little bit. But of course, over $4 million in live tournament earnings, but nothing close to the amount that he's won online. So he's someone that's just an absolute special player. Over $12 million won online, just an absolute legend. For him to get a good start, especially in the 6 max format, I mean, this is a guy that he was always playing the 326 max on PokerStars and anything range. He's played it all for years and years.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, he of course, it goes down as a second place, but he chopped with Elke and a couple of other guys the 10K 6 max a few years ago at the WSOP for $1 million score. I mean, he has certainly an impressive track record in 6 max tournaments.
Yeah, and of course the WPT that he won in California. That's the final tables played 6 max.
Yeah, and here Jeff Gross whipping out the 3-bet. perhaps, a kind of field player moment here. Volta just lost a big pot. Perhaps he's going to be more likely to back down to this 3-bet than in other circumstances.
Chris, deciding whether
Well,
he should just really flush his.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, this is
Go on,
Christopher
Chris.
Moorman, ladies and gentlemen.
See what Jeff tells us. Great stuff from Moorman, keeping the commentary team on their toes. You can't assume he's going to relinquish
No.
the ace-3 off just because it's gone raise 3-bet.
Incredible instincts here by Chris. Par for the course. For the Moor. The man of Moor. Oh, is he doing it? Is Jeff doing it?
I think he's...
Oh, we're seeing some fireworks on the table.
I wonder if he's... Yeah, he doesn't trust Moorman, you can tell.
Wow. Another pot for Moorman.
Players on the table just tossing their chips into the fires of Moorman.
Do you think he could ever call that? I mean,
Kind of
presumably...
anticipated Moorman would pressure on me the first time. I either raised or 3-bet. Wanted to 4-bet jam. It would be kind of a lot to just shove all of it in. And I have a feeling even if I 4-bet, he might 5-bet. So...
wow, that's the level that he thinks things are going down on.
Awkward spot. Kind of saw it coming.
Just had the exact same hand
The Berlin
against you
Bears
last
weren't
time.
last. Maybe I just jam it.
Interesting that Jeff talking about Berlin's position in the table, factoring in a
Raised
little
it
bit
up
the importance of putting
on the
points
small
on the board for the Bears.
It's an interesting kind of...
I don't really want him to keep raising my big blind a lot. I'm just thinking if I... I'm so happy with the fact that it's 2 suited cards. Let's just get a call. Okay. Why can't I be 5-5 king?
Because then that means that you would lose a pot to Moorman.
Go there.
And everything going Chris Moorman's way. Really great to see. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see Moorman do well for another reason. While a lot of franchises did go homegrown, Liv did pick a slightly more international selection. Chris Moorman, one of the UK players in that team, and great to see homegrown talent, performing for the London Bulls.
Yeah, I think it was a very important selection, pardon me, for Liv Bury to make.
Wow. I mean, Filatov, Filatov picking a very flimsy hand 3-bet. I presume that it will work on this occasion. But when that comes around in 10 minutes, we can really expect fireworks. And it's interesting, once one player starts getting out of line, it sort of has an infectious feel, like spreads out, and everyone starts getting out of line. You can see Jeff Gross wanting to, he called it a 4-bet, but it would have been a 5-bet with 10-8 suited. Celina attempted to 3-bet the 10-5 suited. Moorman's influence sort of spreading out and affecting the strategies of the other players. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the beautiful thing about, poker in general is that, it is this sort of organism where you see it happening. This is kind of like this watering hole where all these animals go and then they just start, someone does something and then the other, everybody starts reacting, and it's a beautiful sort of living cerebral creature. It's just really fun to watch, and I think it even happens in live poker. I mean, you sit down at a table, and if there's one guy that's really, really chatty and he starts getting sort of energy out of people, or if there's one guy who's sort of the table captain, very stoic and quiet, it affects things.
Might see Lunea lead on this turn card. I think it would be a real good idea with this particular holding. The 9 turning is, in general, a very good card for the big blinds range. I think that's what he's considering. And yet, he does lead out really small, so he can do it with bluffs and value.
Well, he leads 800 into the pot. This is interesting.
We talked a lot about the match that Lunea played against Dario Sammartino last week, where they make a lot of interesting sort of different bet sizing, just knowing how it will kind of affect the person's perception of their range. I imagine he's making this bet to probably smash on the river, but this is something that's going to throw Selena Lynn off.
Yeah. I mean, in
I feel
general...
like I'm going to make another bet on the river. I pretty much have to... Yeah, I'm just going to let it go here.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's obviously, we can see, and she will see in 10 minutes, of course, that, she was really manipulated by sort of a genius level thinker there, and that's going to happen with when you play
at all. We went for one light 3-bet, and Moorman. And it's anticipated. I probably should just jam that one because I really saw it coming. I thought he was going to mess with me whether I opened.
Chris Moorman in Jeff Gross's head.
First time, but
I mean, all he did was fold the 10. He folded 10 high pre-flop. You know, he didn't even have the best hand. But you see the effect that Moorman can have over other players. Especially, of course, when the whole cards are being broadcast publicly. You know, no one likes to get beaten up on worldwide internet television. Chris checking back this combo.
I can dig it. Yes, I can.
And you can see against Volta's actual hand. We've got Volta drawing dead. And a real fast start to this first 6-max match of the week. Some have been a little slower, a little more cagey, but these guys coming out of the traps fast. And Chris Moorman is coming in for a raise and has already been 3-bet once by Anatoly Filatov. Typical tournament player. 3-bets king 7 off, flats jacks.
Yeah. I mean, that also might have to do with the fact that, you know, jacks is not a hand that you really feel comfortable getting in for 100 big blinds. Not to suggest that once he 3-bets, that's definitely what has to happen, but he wants to sort of pot control, play in position, be under-repped. You know, this is obviously the top of his flatting range, and Chris doesn't necessarily know that.
Boom, shakalak.
You love it, don't you?
I'm loving this. Let's go, London Ross. I mean, sorry, I'm neutral. I'm neutral.
Let's go, Moscow. It's okay, river ace. Chop it up.
So Chris is really hoping that Anatoly's got the stronger parts of his range. King, queen, pocket tens, pocket deuces, hands like that, which Anatoly would bet for value. Anatoly checks back the jacks. And now Chris deciding what size to bet. Puts in a pot-sized bet with the ace-jack, and Anatoly quickly relinquishes.
Ooh, finally get a hand.
This is great news for Jeff Gross, because obviously he did 3-bet bluff in this spot before. One of the reasons these guys do bluff with a certain frequency is so they can get action when they have a hand like this.
Bet for Moorman here, and we will be calling off against Treccarichi. 2 jacks, pretty good hand.
We feel for you,
small
Jeff.
blinds.
Getting dealt the Jeff Droses.
Take it down. First hand, nice to get on the board.
He pronounced Treccarichi even worse than we did in the first.
I didn't think it were possible.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jeff, showing it's not just us.
I didn't think that we could say it any worse.
Look familiar, guys.
Oh, wow, the blind's already up to
No,
200,
it doesn't,
400.
it was suited before.
You know, we're going to stick with our sit and go tight strategy. We're going to muck it. I mean, look at these hands. I'm looking at what Moorman's getting, huh? He's getting some big pairs, checking out some of the hands in the replay. Kings, aces, wow.
Yeah, and that's Chris's reputation, of course. You know, one thing
he
we
always
should
gets ace
say,
and king?
is that these guys have played a little bit with each other before, of course. Some of them many times, particularly, say, Anatoly and Chris. And because he's seen as someone that can mix it up and play such a loose strategy, people don't put him on these hands like aces and kings and assume he's outplaying them or goofing around. So if you're just joining us late, this is the first 6-max match of the day in the Eurasia Conference. 3 players making their debut. Jeff Gross of the Berlin Bears, Anatoly Filatov of the Moscow Wolverines, and Selena Lynn of the Hong Kong Stars.
More like the Eurasia division, because these guys have been raising so much. Jack 8.
If you have to
under
explain
the gun,
it.
30 effective. I Jimmy carded, didn't I?
If you have to
So
explain
ace
it.
5 off, under the gun. I mean, normally I might be opening in sit and go style. 6-max, we're going to let it go.
Yeah, I don't mind this strategy from Jeff. Playing
Definitely don't love that Moorman's got the big chip lead right on my left.
Exactly.
Use it to our advantage.
Jeff explaining he's making an adjustment because Chris has got chips to play with to flat him, 3-bet him, put pressure on him with Walter Treccarichi being shorter. Good adjustment from Jeff Gross. You know, poker's not always about fighting fire with fire. Sometimes you've got to bide your time, and that's exactly what Jeff is doing.
Well, it looks like Anatoly might be bringing fire to a Moorman fight here.
The fire with firing. Because he 3-bets as a bluff, and Alexandre Lunea has a very strong holding in ace-king in the small blind.
Yeah,
Let's see how he plays this.
Filatov, you just brought piss to a shit fight, buddy.
Scatological metaphors flying from my co-commentator. And Lunea
And Christopher Moorman puts the rack in.
with the real hand, and Anatoly Filatov hugely dominated with the king-jack off, and doesn't immediately relinquish. It's a situation where...
Yeah, jacking off is not the best thing to do here, I don't think.
It's a situation where he's aware how loose Chris has been opening, and he knows Alexandre Lunea is aware of that as well. So maybe there's some leveling going on. Anatoly does give it up, and Lunea second in chips. This is a table where getting dealt some hands is going to be incredibly profitable because there's so much opening and light 3-betting going on that if you can just wake up with it cold like that, you're going to make chips.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting actually you say that because I don't think we've actually seen that much. You know, we have seen
right, so
two
I
light
like playing
3
post flop, and I think he's going to be limping wide range here. I think he's going to be limping all his big hands, all his like medium stuff. So we'll just go to a flop. I don't mind letting him like do the limp game. Not a problem. I expect him to lead like almost 100% here. He doesn't. We have a 10 of clubs. That's we got some backdoor clubs, backdoor straights. But we're just gonna check. Pick up a gut shot. Still 10 high. Could raise this like 1,400. I just fold. It's all right. Playing tight, playing solid early. It's still very early.
And, you know, obviously a disciplined fold there with, you know, standard fare there from Jeff Gross. But interesting when you sort of hear the thought process of these players, knowing they're being watched. They kind of want to flex their muscles a bit. They want to show that they're not going to be pushed around, that they can, you know, make moves and stuff like that. And I think it's we've seen it affect people to a really drastic degree sometimes in those long heads-up matches.
4-bet light, like a weak ace. He did have the ace-3, I'm seeing. It's about what I thought. So he just jammed it all in.
Jeff
referring down, but it's all right.
Jeff referring to an earlier 3-bet he did with 10-8, where Chris came over the top with ace-3. Yeah, I agree with you. People get a little bit self-conscious on the webcam. You can see, you know, Jeff, you know, wanting to give a little action for the fans. People tuning in to see him, fans of his Twitch stream, wanting to say, yeah, I've come here to play. But obviously with 10-3...
But discipline shining through there, you know.
10-3, there's nothing
he
you
just
can do.
wants to sort of make sure everyone knows that, you know, it's... He's thinking about it. He's you know, he's got his...
We will see plenty from Jeff Gross, I'm sure about that. And Lunea taking that one down with a continuation bet. Anatoly, another player that seems to really want to get involved. We've seen two lightish 3-bets with King High, Queen 10 off open, and now an Ace 9 off open. Someone like Chris Moorman that does like to get involved in early levels.
Be interested to see if Celina decides to float this particular texture. Doesn't have a backdoor club. I would say maybe kind of breaking even against Anatoly's under the gun open here and see betting this. Do you understand what I'm saying by that line of thinking?
I think the reason... Oh, is she thinking about leading out here? She seems to be... this is...
Wow, very obscure. Repping the texture. It's
I have two other cards, but I think that connect with this board better than Anatoly, so I'm going to go ahead and bet. He's somewhat short, like...
I mean, I think it'll work.
With his
based on
stats.
knowing the cards, but
We'll see what he does.
very interesting.
Yeah, I think having a leading range here is fine. I would normally pick a weaker hand than this and one that contains a gut shot because it can be attacked.
He
And
does opt for a raise.
now you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's a peculiar hand to elect to do that with.
Can we please connect with the board?
Little frustration shown by the manager of the Hong Kong Stars. Yeah, it's a weird hand to do it with because she blocks the kind of hands that she's trying to kind of fold out kind of thing.
I mean, I think if he's got ace-king as well, he just calls. If he's got ace-queen, he just calls.
Yeah.
So you don't really get better hands to fold too often. You're just bluffing him off. Well, and as you can see, he can also just raise a position. That's why you want to do it with a... Normally you pick a slightly more polarized range.
Yeah.
Weak hands, which you don't mind relinquishing, and very, very strong hands, which you're getting value from. And there she picked a sort of in-between hand.
On the button.
So Selena...
No in-between hand here.
Yeah, Selena requesting some cards. And
our new game plan. Let Chris
Moorman
bust everyone out, and then we'll take...
And you see one of the advantages of the tight strategy with Selena Lynn
pretty good game plan.
having kings behind. And I don't think Anatoly or Chris would have folded the ace-2 suited. But in this circumstance, worked out really well for Jeff Gross. And interesting that on the Twitch stream, the last confrontation between these two guys is replaying at this very moment, where Alexandre bluffs Selena on the turn, admittedly just bluffing her off Jack High with 5 high himself. So it'd be interesting to see if that information affects the dynamic of this hand. And the question now, I think in Luneau's mind, will be, when the hand plays out like this, who has the most hearts? Who has the Queen of Hearts and King of Hearts in their range more often? And I think the answer is going to be Luneau. When Selena checks back the turn, she often doesn't have a strong heart. You would expect her to bet that for value on the turn. And it'd be interesting to see whether Luneau looks to capitalize on that. That's what's going to be going through his head now. What sort of strong hands does he arrive at the river with? And what hands does she arrive with? And once again, a tough decision for Selena Lynn. And she does fold. Luneau picking up the pot. And, you know, I think if we didn't know it already, we can see Alexandre Luneau, a class act on the online phone.
Stick to the strategy. It's not rocket science, but we're going to lay down the weak ace under the gun. Actually like raising here, though, in this spot better than a lot of others.
Okay, this is not going that well for us. So cute. So the board runs out of hearts. God damn.
Nice little cute insight into Mr. Gross's life with that obnoxious puppy in the background.
Interesting, Anatoly folding the ace-9 of hearts. He picked this spot last time with a weaker holding than that. Sort of kind of learned his lesson a little bit.
Yeah.
And forced
I mean, it might have happened again here. 1300, 3100, 6500. Boom, boom, bang.
Yeah.
And again, the really interesting small sizing. Just funny little manipulations by Luneau, not even necessarily expecting a full pre. And
bingo, bango, bongo.
Bongo.
Yeah. As you can see, Chris Moorman flopping a flush and has Luneau drawing dead on the flop.
Let's go, Donnie.
The question is, how does Luneau proceed with this part of his range? He does check it over to Moorman. This might surprise some intermediary poker players. Obviously, you do, in general, expect to see a continuation bet from the 3-better, but Luneau, realizing that his particular holding has very little equity on that board and does just check fold, frustrating for Chris Moorman, and excellent play from Alexandre Luneau.
Guys, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern, and of course 6 p.m.
Right,
Central
so we got a
European
bunch of
time. We
options.
do have
We're never
Filatov
folding. Getting a
going
good
back
price
in the
to just
fire.
call. We're going to get outplayed a lot post-flop.
And
we
the
could make a
debut-
pretty good size Could pop it up good.
Of an SSL.
We're going to elect a call.
For the London Royals.
Again, we're going to flop a set about 1 out of halftime. This is a decent flop for us. May even elect to call, check call, and lead a lot of turns. That's a decent option. Again, I mean, you're only going to flop a set 1 out of, 8.5 to 1 or something, so can't really be banking on set mining.
Nice little insight into the mind of, Jeff Gross.
Anatoly.
I think I'm going to call and may even lead certain turns.
Does continuation bet, and Jeff calls.
That's a pretty good one.
A bit peculiar here to decide to lead. I mean, Anatoly's going to call with all those better hands, and then, yeah, the sizing's pretty interesting. This is kind of fun to watch. Obviously, certainly not standard, or I guess game theory optimal kind of. What are your thoughts on this line? Who's taking here?
Yeah, I mean, normally you do it when a turn card comes that significantly favors your range. So obviously we saw it when Lunea turned second pair. But I guess this holding isn't a bad one to do it with. Jeff definitely does have more 6x than
I don't think he's necessarily just going to go away. It's an interesting board. Board's paired, and we take it down. So pretty good result there. I think that's a decent way to play that hand flat and lead a lot of turns, puts him in a tough spot.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because it's like, instead of just falling victim to the barrels when his range is kind of capped, once
we're back over starting stack. We got 25K.
That
Moorman
leading,
initial hand,
we
had the
really,
ace 3 off. That's pretty much what I thought he had.
I really want to think about it more.
Me pretty light, like wheelbarrow aces, and so, that was what I was thinking. So it's just annoying when it happens. I want my instinct was to just jam it all in, but it's too early. And again, we're gonna pick better spots, and we're back over starting and situated, settled in. Chips have broken okay so far.
Yeah, and Jeff Gross isn't in a disadvantaged position too much at all because Volta and Celina are short. And just to remind people, it's 0 points for the first person out, and then it goes 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, 5 points, and 7 points. So just by staying in the contest,
not much we're going to
and
do
allowing
here.
other people to bust out.
Looks like Selena and Walter are getting pretty short.
You do make points for your franchise.
Moorman's gathering a lot of chips, and we're kind of hanging right in there.
Jeff explaining his thoughts for the deuce 4 fold. But yeah, it's not just about playing for the win, as it were. By hanging around and letting other players get collared, get knocked out, get in blind battles, you do accumulate points. And as we emphasized, Berlin Bears, bottom of the division, they definitely do need some
It adds
points.
a little excitement. I feel the pressure, the arena. They're barking.
His dog obviously, concerned for his owner's life with Christopher Moorman on his left.
Yeah, was that one player per hand? Was he barking strategy? Was he barking, continue playing tight from the cutoff? And this is going to tempt Jeff Gross out of his shell, I would imagine. King, queen off, 2 strong blockers. And I think if Jeff were to fold this, he would probably be playing too tight. So he does come in for the open and has Lunea completely dominated pre-flop.
Just to let the fans at home know, we have adjusted here at the GPL the shot clock element from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. That was because of you guys, because of the managers, the players. Everyone came to the consensus that it was best to give a little more time when things don't go your way. That's actually not a song. That was just the song I started singing.
With some, just gonna check. I mean, King High is probably the best hand, honestly. I could go both ways here. I think we just have the best hand. I don't know. Gonna check it back. If he bets, we'll just call. If he checks, I mean, I don't see us getting called. I don't think he has anything. These are kind of weird. I played a bunch of hands in Premier League like this. There was one time I had like almost a second nuts. You want to bet something. not a lot of hands. I mean, unless he has a straight or somehow has an 8 and just.
A lot of free
But
promotion
rather
for
not show my
8-8
hand
poker
down,
so
gonna
far in
bet a
this
little
game.
something.
Do you notice all that bet
I
size?
think we had the best hand on the turn.
A lot of 8-8s.
Anyway.
At one point, our viewership was 8-8. I noticed.
Didn't really feel like getting check
Now it's
raised.
higher.
Was going to call bet on most rivers. Just pot controlling, you know? It's a sit and go. We got 27K. We're in a good spot pretty early here. Moorman's got chips on our left, but that's okay. Sitting decent, solid start.
Affable guy, hey?
Yeah,
Jeff Gross, nice guy. I would go.
He should become a
Have you been
professional best friend.
Have you been for dinner with him?
No, it was a late lunch actually.
It was a late
Well, it
lunch?
was kind of a brunch, so it was like kind of
Brunch.
2 meals in one.
I bet it was a good time. He seems like a.
Oh,
a
it was no. I'm completely making it up. So, but I fantasized about it.
You dreamt about it.
Yeah, no. I know
Oh my
where
god,
we
what
go.
pot?
Okay.
Selena Lynn.
Someone's excited.
Selena Lynn, pleased
Feels
to pick up a
good.
pot.
Pretty weak holding here in the
Not
big
the
blind.
best start for her. And trying to make it 2 in a row here.
With the
Got like
Kojo.
33 bigs. She's short. I mean, you know, it's a little different than MTT's defending any 2. Just a little more in the min raise. It's just
Come on,
not
Jeff.
quite good
You don't
enough.
have much on the
This,
clock
you know,
left.
in a
What
multi,
you
probably
gonna
defend,
do?
but here in this format, also she doesn't have more chips than me. Implied odds, the whole deal. We're just gonna give it up.
Yay, momentum. Ship it.
Can she make it 3 from 3? Pocket 4's under the gun. I think.
Oh, 3-bit now. We're gonna go ahead and raise.
Selena does open,
fours
and
here.
Anatoly Filatov with a strong holding under the gun 1, ace queen off. And flat calls. I think there's some opponents he would have 3-bet here, but Selena somewhat more snug than someone like Moorman. And I don't mind this flat. They go heads up to a flop. And again, it's a situation where Selena does have the best hands, but then it's going to be kind of difficult to negotiate. One of the problems with these small pairs, of course, is when overcards flop, as they do the majority of the time.
Hard pressed to get Anatoly Filatov to fold this hand, obviously, given that he has the 2 overs and the backdoor Nutta Butta Drutta.
Yeah, so for you guys,
Can't see him flagging.
bit newer to the
I think
GPL,
that
obviously
Anatoly might shove or fold here.
with this ace of clubs in his hand, normally going to use that to control his continuing
Oh, it
frequency,
does flag.
and turns a very strong top pair. And this is what I mean by difficult decisions. Now, Selena with just a little more than the pot and no real sense of where she is in the hand. We saw Jeff Gross negotiate playing the pocket 4s against Anatoly earlier. Here, Selena with the same dilemma. She checks, and Anatoly probably realizing that he now has the best hand on that queen turn. Really difficult decision for Selena Lynn. And psychologically, I think she feels like she's been a little run over in this match. Probably seen that Lunea has bluffed her a couple of times. Moorman's bluffed her. I really hope that she can get away from the pocket 4s here.
I'm gonna let it go.
And good discipline for Selena, not letting previous hands affect her. She's frustrated, but in 10 minutes she's going to realise
Button, nothing
that she
exciting
did get
either.
outdrawn on the turn.
And we're gonna muck the Jack 3 off. Selena's got like 15 bigs. Again, gonna muck it. Looks like she got a walk. Oh no, I'm sorry. Anatoly open, so we're gonna muck anyway. Missed that open.
And that had a big swing back in Anatoly's favour. Selena now short. Anatoly up to 3rd in chips. That queen on the turn, absolutely crucial for the Moscow Wolverines manager.
King 4 off, we're gonna pass.
Don't do it, Filatov. That you can do. It's funny how I just think he's just going for an aggressive action as soon as he starts tanking. I'm just like...
Anatoly plays as NL Profit on PokerStars, someone that if he's on your table, you realize it pretty quickly because he gets involved in a lot of hands. And here, Lunea, obviously with a commanding lead, 2 kings, but Anatoly does have 2 overs to the 8, gut shot to the nuts. And Lunea maybe continuing sometimes here with just ace-high type hands.
Come on, man. I know I'm 31 years old, but gut shot to the nuts. It's just a funny thing to say.
And
and Sam indulging me with a bit of a smile, but mostly just nervous laughter. Interesting to see if Anatoly can win this pot here on that turn card.
Yeah, so Anatoly improves. I mean, we can see he's only 14% to win this hand. But now a 10 or a 5 would give him the nuts. And Lunea checks back. Anatoly not rivering the straight, but rivering top pair, which he may think is the best hand.
That's actually a bad card for Filatov because it's going to make him less inclined to turn his hand into a bluff because he's rivered what he would imagine is the best hand at a fair enough frequency where he's probably just going to check.
And Lunea checks back.
Wow, 2 kings. Wow.
And wins at showdown.
Another weak ace. Fold.
But a strong man. And a protective dog. These are the stories of our lives. Anatoly electing for the limp of probably... What percentage of his range do you think he'd be limping in this spot, just for the fans at home, Sam?
I think it's fine at this stack depth to have 100% limping range. It allows you to sneak into the pot with hands like 6-3 high. And I mean, interesting that Lunea pounces on it with 9-8 suited.
Yeah.
In general, you'd expect someone to raise their kind of trashy hands and their more strong value hands. If he's raising at a very high frequency, then you definitely need to start giving a walk with, oh my days, Anatoly Filatov, clicking some buttons here.
Love it.
And
I love it.
This is one of the reasons it's difficult raising with a suited 9 high, because now you're in a real troublesome spot. He calls and wow.
And he's flopped the best hand.
This is amazing stuff. Of course, Anatoly does have the best hand with a pair of 6s. But we can see in terms of who will win more often, what we like to call equities, 64% of the time, Lunea will be best by the river. And I would expect Lunea to attack with this combo. We shall see. Really getting out of line, Anatoly Filatov with the 6-3 off. Such a garbage hand. Would never have predicted the limp re-raise.
And a very inviting sizing, too.
Yeah.
Because you didn't expect him to have a linear hand like this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially against a cash game player. I think that sizing, is pretty off.
Yeah, you're going to see a flop a lot.
And this is the difficulty with Anatoly's strategy. Now what does he do? Third pair, relinquishes it on the flop, actually folded the best hand, so to speak, although Lunea would win at showdown a lot of the time.
8-10 off, 6-12, man. Blinds are getting big. We're down to like 21 bigs, and we're in third, I believe, kind of sitting in an all right spot. There's 3 pretty short stacks.
I mean, we predicted Anatoly and Moorman would come out firing, and we definitely weren't wrong. With mixed results, it's got to be said.
Are we ever wrong, Samuel?
Well, we're the GPL. Eric Denis may be the GPL insider, but we're the GPL outsiders. And sometimes you have a better view from the outside.
Yeah, and you might even say we're
here.
the prognosticators.
4 diamonds, hopefully it doesn't fold around.
And Selena Lynn with 2 9s is all in, and now Anatoly Filatov with pocket 7s and a real big decision. Crucial moment here for the Moscow Wolverines manager.
Yeah, I think in a normal, sort of 6 max sit and go, there's an argument here.
And we got some shoves
does
happening.
Fold.
10 blind shove. Oh, and a call.
Walter.
So we'll get out of the way. And yeah, it should be like ace queen versus 7, something like that.
And Celina in a flip.
Ace jack and 9's pretty close. There's a jack.
And Volta leaping into the lead. Do our producers know that she's going to lose? Why has she been axed on Skype before the showdown?
I'm telling you, man, it's the whole Back to the Future thing, the fading
And
photograph.
Selena's going to be pretty short.
Big double up for Walter Treccarichi, the Rome Emperor. Rome Emperors, remember, the only team without a win in the entire
Pretty standard hand.
GPL. And Selena, unlucky there, because she would have held against Filatov had he elected to call with sevens. Volta probably would have folded the ace-jack. And
we'll just fold. I mean, we
down
could
to
limp
two
in.
bigs.
Mormon's probably going to apply some pressure, realizing, I mean, whatever she's got, she's basically all in next hand. We're just going to give it up. Jack 5 off.
And Selena Lynn, the manager of the Hong Kong Stars, is in danger
Ace 6.
of exiting for
interesting.
0 points on her first ever GPL appearance.
Is that? Did she have Jack 8 under the gun there? Is that an in for you with the 2 big blinds?
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, with Jack 8,
Mormon gets out of the
I
way,
think
so
it
we
has
should
to
have
be
ace
called,
high.
yeah. I
Should be
think
the best hand here. It's not a great flop, but I mean, ace high pre. She might have nicked a piece of that,
Selena obviously very disappointed.
and she didn't.
Hate to
and we're
see it.
ahead.
She's
6 outs.
got
That's a good
such
card.
a sweet demeanor
So
and
get
presence.
the KO.
But
Look at that.
obviously, she will be
Haven't
disappointed.
played
But
many
she,
hands, but we got the first knockout, and we are up to 26K and 5-handed, sitting in third. So decent start.
Jeff Gross equaling
There's bonus for
Dan
KOs, I heard,
Cates.
right?
oh my
total.
God, the fading photograph.
and
Jeez.
Selena Lynn out the door,
Heartbreak.
following in Fabrice Soulier's footsteps.
Oh, this job is
Yeah,
emotional.
offering
Did you
stay
see
solid,
that? The way it
still
faded
5-handed.
away?
It's close. King 8 suited, probably open. Got Moorman on the button. 1 big blind only. Gonna give it up.
Selena will be back and stronger than ever. Obviously, so committed to her team that she wants to do well.
Yeah, just to remind people, this is the first of 2 matches in this conference. Selena Lynn will be back quite literally after this match finishes in the second contest of these 6 players.
Quite literally. Moorman been a little quiet the last few rotations. Obviously, this is more of a card distribution situation. There's Anatoly
So-
Filatov.
Can you listen to me? Am I on camera? If I am, I have to start speaking, I guess. I'm not sure about that, so
We have a question on the Twitch from Arsenal011. What are blockers? It's basically just having cards in your. Interesting. Look at this 3-bet by Lunea.
Yeah.
Lunea. It's having cards. I mean, this is sort of a blocker situation with Lunea right here, where he has 2 cards that make it less likely for the opponent to have something like Ace Queen, Pocket Queens, Pocket Tens, Ace 10. So it's just you use the kind of cards to.
so what's going on here?
Happens with flush draws a lot as
Yeah.
well. When
Okay.
having a
Okay.
heart in
So
your hand makes
the
flush
match
draws
is going
likely.
on, and the Chris is a huge chip leader. He ran pretty good, and he flopped some good boards, especially like the flush, and he has kings with 1 outer, and I played a little bit spew. Just need to start it faster to make these guys thinking that I'm absolutely crazy. I don't want them to play against me a lot, but right now the situation is changed, so I don't need to play that much hands. I have to be a little bit more tight, so I'm waiting for my good moments to shove or to reshove or doing some aggressive things. So
Get out of the way.
yeah, I had some good run before, just play aggressive. Then I 3-bet King Jack against Chris, and the Jeff.
King, queen, pretty good hand, yeah.
The Alexandre has Ace King as I thought, so that's why I lost some chips, so those spelled, but everything was okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't play like the
Wow.
ranges that all the
Decent
players
spot
do.
to
I
jam
play
on
the
as well.
situations here.
Looks like Walter's putting a little
mostly.
pressure on, so I wouldn't
Wow,
consider
four
I'm
pretty
waiting
hands here.
I would've
for
considered
Walter
it,
when he busts.
jam here or a
Then-
3-bet. I'll give it up.
And Leno
Kind of a neat player.
saving
I'm
Jeff
hitting
Gross
for
and Chris
sure. I know
Moorman.
he's on camera too, and he 3-bet 10-8 suited, as I thought. So
Walter chipping up all of a sudden.
yeah, but in general he's tight player. But Walter is not
Ace
that
Jack
tight.
nines
He's
all in.
aggressive. He could steal extra hands. He could play some hand that you don't need to play.
And
So
Chris
right now I
Moorman
feel that I
with
need
a
to pick
real
some
tough
good
decision
hands,
here.
and I'm waiting.
King, Queen
when
of
he's gonna
Hearts.
bust or
And I think he knows that the
It's
type
a
of
face-up
hands,
shove, yeah,
type
absolutely.
of hands Volta's going to pick here
That's it, guys. And
are
Selena went
pairs.
first.
And
She shoved
Chris
pocket
gives it up,
nines against
preserving his
ace-jack.
stack. Very
It's
close
just
spot,
so
Of
many
guys.
course,
chips.
I felt,
though,
you
right?
know, that I couldn't bring some money, couldn't take some money with this hand. So that's why I folded my sevens. If I felt that she has sixes, I would call for sure. But right now I have pocket threes. It's a standard shove. Easy game here. Alexander, let's go. Gamble. No gamble. No, he's gonna fold. He's calculating. I'm not sure. Yeah, I heard that Alexander is kind of a solid and tight player, so maybe he has ace deuce. Come on, Alexander, ace deuce. Let's go. Let's do that. You have to butt this Russian with 1 point. Otherwise, you have to double up me in order to make some show with Chris Moorman.
Filatov wearing
Come on,
his
come on, let's do
Russia
it. You have just
top
7 minutes.
from the GP.
He's waiting for the delay of the
World
stream,
Cup.
but it's not allowed here because we have 10 minutes delay, so it's not a big deal. He called with king
a
3.
light
Nice
call from
call,
Lunea.
Alexander. I like this call. Thank you so much for double up. Come on, let's do that, baby. It's
Good
a 10.
turn for Filatov. Two
One more
outs
out
for
for the
Lunea.
5 of hearts. 5 of hearts. Oh my god, it's an ace. No way. He's missing. It's not even an ace. It's king 3 offsuit. What's going on, guys? Is it $1 satellite? No, I'm kidding. Thanks for the chips.
Seems a little much. Sixes, interesting spot with 15 blinds, 5-handed. I think we're gonna fold. It's pretty close. Could just jam it.
I don't think that is a good call here. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, if this guy's calling off a king 3 off, I'd like being a little more patient. It's a little tight even for me.
And the stack size is very even now. Moorman still with a little lead over the opposition, but Treccarichi is actually third in chips now from having been our short stack all the way through. And now Lunea shoves, and Volta with a decision. A7 suited is a call.
Wow. Wake up. He's probably got like king queen up top and like an ace 10. I think we're gonna see a match. 10 jack a7, pretty close, same deal, and it's a good flop for the 10 jack.
Lunea flops
we would have
best.
queen 6. Too bad we don't have sixes this hand.
A
Oh,
flush
diamonds
draw
good
for
sweat. He's got
Treccarichi.
blockers.
Blocker, see?
That's not a good result for us. 2 short stacks
Big
and double.
pot
This guy's
for
got
Volta
11K
Treccarichi.
though.
That's how quickly things can change here at the GPL 6 Max. Volta Treccarichi, short stack for so long, got back into it, now right back under it. You know, if he'd won that flip, he would have been chip leader.
Actually, Chris
but
is
now it's
a
Lunea.
very tough player.
Oh, the sixes.
You know, he's not that aggressive that he was like
Again, under the gun.
several years before in tournaments, but he's still good, and he plays. When he doubled up, he started to play more aggressive. That's why I started to 3-bet him. And okay, thanks Walter for coming. Bye bye. It's king 8 against pocket 9s. Oh, what a board. Ace, jack, jack. He has some outs. It's an 8. 2 pair over 2 pair. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Oh, let's do it, Moscow Wolverines. Let's do it, guys. And we have 4 marks right now. Who's the boss now? The new chip leader, Anatoly Filatov from Moscow, Russia. Alexandre. This is such bad hand. 6 deuce. So we have Jeff Gross. He's short. Alexander isn't it. So I'm gonna trying to steal. Actually, if you play tournaments or standard sitting goals, you have to understand that's not the right way to play this, particularly this hand, because it's always fold. But right now he has some pressure because of Jeff Gross, the shorter stack, but he has position. And this board, I mean, like sometimes I hit this board pretty good, but it's not this time. I have the gut shot, and the Alexander, his range is more convenient for this board, so I'm just let it go, let it be. The new chip leader, Alexander Lunea, or whatever, Alexander Luno, whatever you want, guys, but I don't care about that with such a. I'm sorry for this
Good
word, such a
decision
bad
here
hand.
from Filatov.
I
You can see
wanted to
Lunea
say
has
grab
flopped
hand.
a straight.
Sure, is it allowed or not? But okay, half a pot. Okay, 4,100 is okay. I would fold. Come on, there is no reason to bet that much, Alexander. You can bet just 2,900. I would fold too. Oh, King 9. Jab Gross. Here we go. This is an interesting spot actually. I I don't know what's gonna Jeff do, especially with this hand. I have to play my range in different ways here. Right now I start to making raises because I'm not sure he would shove wide enough to exploit my raise fold range. So yeah, he's not doing that.
We have the Ace
So
of Hearts.
he's calling. Such an interesting board.
It's not a great flop for us.
So with this board, I have
Do hit a pair.
overcard. I have the gut shot. I would check it back for one street. Just give me a chance to catch my
I like
out.
that
So
card.
if he would check right, that I don't know what to do. I will think about.
Jeff Gross in a tricky spot.
I think we're gonna check. I mean,
700. Come on, Jeff. Let's do it, baby. 10 on the river. 2,700. He called. It's an ace, so that's a weird spot here. So
Filatov may feel like he has to bluff this card.
could have had like 9, 10, King 10. Didn't want to get check raised off the flop.
Nice read here from Jeff Gross.
So
Big bet here is definitely scary, but we shouldn't really have an ace in our hand.
He may has the queen or a jack. Other hands I bet. I mean like the gut shots. So I check it back. He has an ace deuce. Nice call, Jeff. Ace deuce.
10, King 10, those type of hands on the turn.
I had more out.
Surprised you didn't bet that flop. It was actually a perfect card for him to bet the river with that type of hand. I would expect him to try to rep it. But it's all right. Right in here.
Yeah, as we predicted, Filatov playing a little bit unconventionally. Jeff Gross a little surprised.
10-3
with
off.
some
We're gonna muck on the
decisions.
button. We got.
He definitely is someone
Bit
that
lines
pioneers
8-16 though,
his
so
own
we're
style.
not super healthy.
Similar to the way Moorman was a few years back, really
I don't
forging
know.
a new path in online
I would like to check
MTT
here.
poker.
This is pretty interesting. Chris
you knew that
Moorman
he has
kind of
pretty
trapping
weak range
pre-flop
right
here.
now in his
23
limping.
effective-ish.
And the board is okay for me. It's an ace high board. I would like to see the turn. He bets small, so he bets small here. And I'm gonna call with my ace. And the 7 on the turn is a game. I just predicted, guys. I predict the future. I can predict the future. And the second barrel from London Royals, Chris Moorman. Let's do it, baby.
And
Come on.
Chris actually is going to
Come
think he has the best hand
on.
here. He
Let's
did have
do
the
it,
best hand on
baby.
the flop. Filatov with a huge
4,000.
outdraw.
4,025. I'm pretty sure that I have the best hand, but there is no reason to raise here. I mean, like, there is 2 flush draws, but I don't care about that. I'm Russian. Russians don't care.
And it bricks off. And Chris Moorman might think Filatov's got a king heart,
Come on,
a king
baby.
or a jack, perhaps with some kind of straight draw
Fire,
to go with
fire
it.
on the river. Chris Moorman, the best online player ever. $13 million in prize money. So I wouldn't do anything crazy. Shoving here makes in value bets. I'm pretty sure that I'm good. But in order to keep it slower, I would just call. Okay, Chris, I'll take your money. Thanks for that. I'm calling. Bingo! Bingo time! A7
Bingo
for
bongo.
Anatoly. Just calling here. And nice turn. Thanks. Nice turn.
And,
Okay,
and Chris
has
Moorman,
13
who's been the
bigs,
chip
Chris
leader
has 11
since early
bigs. It's
days, is now actually our shortest stack, four-handed. And that was a big swing. That 7 on the turn is going to make a huge difference to the outcome of this match. Chris Moorman actually in shovel fold mode now, and probably going to elect to jam it all in with the queen 9 off.
Yeah.
He does do that.
He's really good. So I feel like Alexander would play pretty tight against me. He has to do that because like over aggressive, and the Jeff Gross, he's playing too tight too, so that's why I don't need to shove my ace deuce here. I could just raise it. Alexander, we have a Russian song. Alexandra, Alexandra, этот город наш с тобой.
Man, just stuffs it in, huh? Give it up.
Whatever. He has to find a good hand to do these things. So okay. Whatever. I have 2 queens here. Nice. Sometimes
I
Anatoly
predict some
Filatov has some
fireworks
good
here.
hands too, and it means
And
that
Lunea will
I
be
would,
folding
I
a
would
king
make
blocker
some
as
money
well.
with it. Come on, Jeff Gross, Chris Moorman, I'm ready.
Jack 6 off. We're gonna lay it down.
Bingo, Chris. He's shoving. We wouldn't slow roll, Chris. Let's go. Thanks for playing. Good game. Jack high, Jack 8-6. It's a 9 for the intrigue and the blank card. Oh my god, there is no house for Chris Moorman and he's busted on the 3rd place. And the Russian is taking the money, taking the lead. So right now we have the Jeff Gross with the short stack, 11 bigs. Alexandre Luno with the shorter stack. And what we gonna do now? We're waiting for Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Let's do it, baby.
12 blinds and 1 double up, and we're gonna go for it. So, sticking to the plan, so far so good. I'd say we're on schedule. Obviously, wish I had a few more chips, but at the same time, there are not many hands that I would regret. So, yeah, we're all good. And here we go. Final three. Picked up some points and trying to ladder now. Let's see if we can get a double and win this.
Oh, bingo. Pam.
Anatoly Filatov
Moscow,
running good since he's been on the
Still
webcam.
no hands, guys.
Big
I don't know what's
swing
going
in
on,
his
but
favor.
it's okay. We're just gonna play our game. We're gonna double up and get up to 50K and then sort out a W, Premier League style, just like we did Premier League. You can't win unless you get heads up. Down to 3.
Usually do, but we're on fire right now, and we will crush everyone who is on the line. So it's not a big deal. Actually, tomorrow I'm flying. I have to see bet this board right now. Actually, tomorrow I'm flying to Monte Carlo, to EPT Monte Carlo. Yeah, and I will play my heads up game from there. So right now I'm in Moscow, here in the cold Moscow, and then this is a bad card. He has a lot of Jack 10, Queen Jack, and other.
Anatoly, such a strong hand reader,
bad against
recognizing what a bad card this is. Doesn't see it as a gut shot and an opportunity to barrel, but recognizing it hits Luneau's range, and we can see that's exactly right. Lunea turning the nut straight.
I mean, like, I have the gut shot on this board, but it's still bad because like his range is always hit this board. So I'm gonna fold here. Whatever, he's a new chip leader or not, no, whatever. I don't care. We're waiting for Jeff Gross to bust him. So I guess I have to start. I have to start limping.
There's really nowhere to ladder. It's close. We have 10 bigs, ace 3. Again, there's not like ICM pressure, right? We're the shortest, so we're gonna have to call it off. Hopefully, shoving. Problem is with ace 3, even when you're ahead, you're not that far ahead. So he's gonna show up with like Jack 10 and King 9 and those hands. So we're gonna call it off. Again, I think he's probably gonna have some decent because again, like we can't just fold forever. So like, I don't think he's gonna be like shoving like 7-4 off, 7-2 off. But at the same time, he does have the stack to afford it. Got to take a stand somewhere. Ace high, blind on blind. I mean, it's a decent spot. Hopefully we're ahead. Hopefully it's a fair fight. Maybe he's got. We're not really dominating hands, but we can't. I don't think we can fold. We should have the best hand. Let's put an ace out there.
Jeff Gross going to need something
honestly,
other than
it makes
an ace.
sense, but
and he does flop a flush draw.
Just chops 10.
You've got a flush draw.
Oh, spade. Hello. A lot of chops.
Ooh. And
wow,
we
I think
lose
he's,
Jeff Gross in
that's some
third
play, right?
place. GG.
Okay.
Played tight,
So we
played
took
solid.
third, pretty good flop. I don't know. I don't think there's much we can do there. I actually thought he was going to have a pretty good hand, but can't fold that one.
And Jeff Gross putting some points, very valuable
I'm a
points on the
professional
board
player,
for
but
Berlin Bears.
I'm making mistakes. So
Hey, guys.
Hi
right
there.
now we're a
We'll be
heads up.
back.
Alexander is limping, so I will check the 30 bigs. Oh my goodness, this is nuts. I have like ace 4. I'm looking, it's like the same here on this board. Hey, Griffin Banger, Sam Grafton. I wish you best of luck, guys. Wanted to play with you online too, or in GPL, but you're commentating all the time. And I heard that yeah, Griffin Banger, Griffin Banger, and Sam. So here we go, guys.
Oh, that's cute.
Who's your favorite here? Oh, he's betting on 4449. This is just an easy call for me. The Jack on the river. It's a blank card. I mean, I would like to check here, and if he bets, I'm not sure I would fold, because the board is so dry, but I'm not sure. Maybe I call. I call if he has 7 high. I call ace 3, baby. Oh, this is such a bad hand. Okay, I would play a standard game here for a while.
Reminiscent of like a Tony G, hey, Anatoly.
Yeah,
Bit of
it's
trash
great.
talk.
It's just great.
Jack deuce offsuit. This hand is really good. Raise it up, baby. Come on, let's do it. Moscow Wolverines. Oh, the aggro player aggression is everywhere. Let's go. Come on. He's still calling.
Leno defending very wide.
Against Alexander, he's
The
defending
Filatov
a
show.
lot of hands. He may has like a lot of hands there hitting the gut shots. I would bet really big because he's never give up. So I would bet big, big bet. I mean, like, it's exploitable game with this range, but who cares? Here, we're making the show, guys. The Russians making the show. Alexander, you have to shove now. Shove or die. Shove or forward. Fold, whatever. Come on, let's do it. Alexander, if he doesn't fold, I have no idea what to do. So guys. Oh yeah, he's shoving. He always hitting Moscow Wolverines. Come on. Right now we're starting to play my game 20 bigs. I wouldn't play like that with Vanessa for sure.
And Leno.
I wouldn't do
with
that
a
with
big
Vanessa.
chip
I would
lead here.
play. You'll see. We'll see. I will make the show anyway. Alexandre, 2,400 here. Yes, we'll take it. Come on. Come on.
So these two heads up.
He's limping, so the queen 10. I would like to raise here 7,200. I mean, like, it's kind of close to raise and to check here. It's close for sure.
Interesting to see whether Leno jams here. Yes, he
He's
does.
Shoving. Yeah, that's why it's close to do both things here. He might has like ace deuce or something like that, and that's a good strategy against me. So the Alexander just trying to outplay me, but I would let it go, trying to try to do something to pick up good hands or hit the boards.
Once again, Leno flopping strongly.
I would see bet for sure. I have no equity. I have to take the pot, or I would surrender. If he continues, check calling or check raising. He's playing pretty solid, and I don't understand his range because I didn't see his cards. Oh, now I saw his cards. Maybe he flops pretty good. I'm not sure about that.
Lunea obviously deciding whether to raise or just call, and he does raise. Filatov with just 10 deuce
He's
high.
re-raising me, and I would fold. I would fold for sure.
You did fold for sure.
I need to double up here because we started pretty fast. Heads up games are usually not that fast, so.
Lunea just taking the Moscow
10-4
Wolverine to
suited is
flops,
definitely check for
trying
me.
to grind him
And I
down.
would check here
But this
too.
time it's Anatoly that flops best.
Come on, the Alexandre. This is two options here. To call or to raise. I would like to make it some spew. Like it's spew, like 69,000. 69,000, 6,900. Come on, baby. Come on, Alexander. He's bluffing. No, he's just snap folding. So I would like to raise or to call here. Come on, shove, baby. Let's do it. Paris will take some points. That's a 4-4-7.
Anatoly still with the best hand, but you
Okay,
can see
it's
Lunea
probably
flopping
check.
a straight draw and binks it on the turn. Alexandre Lunea with
If
a
he
7
checks,
to
I
3
check
straight.
it back.
7 to
If
3.
he
That's kind
bets,
of cool.
I
Never
call.
heard it go backwards
If he
like that.
shoves, I
And-
fold. Well, this is my first match, and
He
I will
checks it
think
again.
about my strategy in the second game, because I guess they would know my cards and everything that I had, and
Will
yeah, I would ask the
Lunea
guys.
slow play the river
What
as
would
well?
they think about that? He checked, so I'll take the pot. This is mine. The world is mine. Oh my goodness. He has straight. He has a straight. Oh, he's checking straight. He wants me to bluff. Okay, he shoved. There is two options here, guys. He may have small pair like deuces, threes, fours, or fives, or a weak ace. Maybe some kind of queen 10 or 9-10, but it's still more small pairs, and I have ace 4. If I have like ace 8 suited, ace 7 suited, I would definitely call, but I guess ace 4 I have to fold in this dip. This is his first shove, so I'm not sure about that. Like against Alexander, I would fold. Against like Chris, I would never fold this hand. So okay.
In general, I would have thought that read was right. I'm actually a little surprised that a cash game player does
Just
elect to
let it
shove the
go.
king 10 suited.
You think you would limp call and
Yeah,
try to just take a flop with a dominating king or dominating 10 against a lot
so
of...
interesting that Lunea chose to shove there. Don't hate the fold from Anatoly, but he is going to need to get some chips soon because he's blinding down, and the blind levels are about to go up to our final level in just 30 seconds.
That is still okay.
And you know how much I love the 1500, 3000 level, Sam.
One of your favorites,
Check
Griff.
calling.
Top,
So
top 3 or 4.
nobody makes it out of the 3000 level.
And
So
Except
what
Felipe
you
Ramos
need-
and Tyler Gunn.
what
They
could
played the
he have
4000,
here?
8000 level.
The
You know?
7, the random 7, the gut shots, but I have no equity, so there is no reason to barrel him. There is no reason with my hand to barrel him, especially the backdoor flush draw is going on the board.
And because he just made 2 pair.
Just let it go, and right now we have the blocker for the straight, the 6. I would just surrender. I would just surrender into.
And straight draws and flush draws missed.
To his bet.
So Lunea presumably
checks.
thinking about his sizing here.
I mean, like I would bluff if I have the. You have.
Taking his time.
If you have like other image, but you know he's thinking I'm too aggressive, and he would call me with a lot of weaker hands, so I wouldn't bluff here. Yeah, I wouldn't bluff here. I would just surrender.
I think we're going to see a
maybe I
real big
will.
sizing here from Lunea on this river. Yeah.
He's showing.
Treble pot
Nice.
jam.
That's nice.
And I like that from Lunea.
That's
Obviously,
nice.
nothing Anatoly could do with the 10 high, but does get to the river with pretty weak range there, Lunea.
Right now we are under 10 bigs. What could I do here? I'm trying to double up. This is a perfect hand to take the pot, to take the money.
Alexandre Lunea with the chip lead for the Paris Aviators. Let's remember they started the day top of the Eurasia division.
Come on, shove, Alexander, let's do it.
And Alexandre
I need some
Lunea
points,
obliges.
guys. I need to win this all-in, so let's go. Zanasi Capusto. Pocket fives. Who cares? Ace on the flop. Come on. Come on, baby. That's a blank card. It's a jack. It's a jack. Oh my
Cinco
god.
de Mayo.
Anatoly Filatov doubles up. Here we go, guys.
He really is taking our job
right
here.
Now we could gamble one more time.
Third person and
win
everything.
One more all in, then I bust Alexander, take 9 points.
And that really evens things
we'll
up.
Start second match.
Lunea all in with a dominating hand, chance to win this match there and then. And now he's got a battle back.
Okay.
He does seem to make the best hand
Okay.
every flop they see.
Okay. I would like to check back. Where's my hand? If he bets, I call.
Anatoly telling us he is going to call a bet on the turn with Queen High. But Lunea slow plays once again.
Check, I check.
And
if
improves
he bets,
on the river.
I have no idea. The 5 is a bad card for me, but I would Queen 6, King this Jack. He hits everything. This is close. He bets like 3k. What would I do? I would call.
And once again, we see Lunea pick a big sizing.
He may have like whatever. The 5. Oh, it was an ace.
And
nice bet, Alexander.
Filatov
nice bet. Queen high wasn't so good.
Pays it off on the river. I think that if Lunea is slow playing straights and aces at a high frequency, then you can't be calling down with Queen 6 high. You know, perhaps should have made an adjustment based on the way Lunea played that straight. But he's still in it, the manager, let's remember, of the Moscow Wolverines, looking to imitate Liv Bory and put a win on the board for the franchise the franchise they manage. And now Filatov adjusting to a raising strategy
or something like that. So I would definitely try to put more aggression pre-flop and to trying to steal more blinds, to play more all-in. It seems like he's bluffing here, but I would fold King 5, whatever. That's a good bluff if he's bluffing. That's pretty good bluff.
It was a bluff, Anatoly. And Lunea showing what an adept poker player is, realizing that this first raise, min raise, is weak and turning 7-5 off into a bluff. Real excellent play from the Aviator.
This is an ace.
Unfortunate card because hard for Anatoly to lead on this ace. No respecter of ranges though. Is he just going to come out firing?
5,000.
Go on, Anatoly.
600. Or maybe.
Yeah, recognizing that that ace is way better for Lunea than he is in general. And power poker from the Wolverine.
Just making some overbet, just in case. I would fire the river too.
And Filatov counting out a raise. He doesn't slow down, even though he's seen Lunea limp call as wide as 9-5
I'm trying to
suited.
steal with 2-8 offsuit. I don't like this hand. I mean, I do like this hand to steal the money. 6-3. Come on, Alexandre, let's do that. Let's play some post flop. I'm kidding. Come on, Alexandre, let's fold.
And
He's shoving, whatever.
I don't
Shoving is
like
okay.
this raise with 6-3 off. Filatov perhaps not finding his rhythm against Lunea
Showing
just yet.
is okay. Oh, ace-8. That's a shoving hand actually. I mean, I could call here in this dip, and the shoving is good too. So I'm shoving. He's folding. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Come on, baby. Yeah, I raised a couple of times. He shoved. So right now I'm continue limping. I'm trying to do something, but yeah, he's playing pretty good in heads up. I heard that he's a heads up player, and we have a straight draw here. I mean, like, there is no aces in my range most of the time because I would check shove here. I would do something else, not like limp calling. So he could continue betting easily on this board. I would surrender a lot, and he bets small. But I have open-ended, so I just call. With my open-ended, the jack on the turn. What he's gonna do with the jack on the turn? He would continue barreling, I guess. So he checked. He could easily check shove here. I have some outs. Even 8 is good. So I usually bet on this board, but you know, my stake size is not that good for that, and the pot is already big, so I will take my 9 for free, and then okay, I took my 9. No way, I didn't.
And Lunea might be tempted to bet the 7th value. Filatov looks like he's got a 5 or a 7. All 7s chop. And
he
but
checked
Lunea
it.
does check.
Now I have to bet it.
And
I would like to bet it.
this is a big moment because
9,000.
Filatov betting with just 8 high.
How am I overbet
And
shove?
if he gets
No,
it
I'm
through,
kidding. I couldn't do that.
he will be the chip leader. And if Lunea calls, the match very much in his favor.
I'm trying to take the pot. Oh, it's 7-6.
And Lunea snapping off that
What's
sizing.
the point to raise 7-6 suited? That's such a good hand to play post flop. Slumping. Okay, I'm gonna check 10-8. I need to hit the board. That's a good board.
Filatov flopping good right when he needs it.
Pretty big swing here for both teams
behind.
with the points, of course. Paris
So I
Aviators
would like
with
to
40
bet
points in the
4K
lead.
here.
Moscow Wolverines with 35 in the Eurasia division. So a pretty big swing here between a 4-point swing. First, of course, gets 7 points. Second, getting 5.
And this river
right now I
might
have to
save Lunea because Filatov can't really bet the 2 pair for value now. And both players show their hands down. Unfortunate run out for Anatoly Filatov. See one of the disadvantages of playing out of position.
I would like to fold. So right now we have strong situation. I need to win 1 all in. Then I'm ahead. He needs to bust me. And the blinds are 2K, 4K. So it's like I have 12 bigs. He has like 25 bigs. We're not that deep. I would like to just shove. No. I would like to limp.
Obviously,
Here
interesting
was
dynamic
my
because Lunea
jack,
did call
8
in very
also.
light earlier with the king 3.
He checked. Okay, this is nuts for me.
And we are here at the 2-4 level now. This pretty much will last for until the end of the match, unless these guys somehow troll us into the match lasting another hour. So this is the last level. Obviously, you know, everyone getting the amount of chips they have. Not a ton of chips in play. Only 150K.
Yeah. And Anatoly, realizing Lunea has no aces in his range, able to bet strongly for value on this tone card. And Lunea in a horrible spot. We could see only 5% of the time does he win this hand.
what I'm gonna do if he shoves, I guess I would go. It seems like I still has the best hand. It will be the pretty soon value bet if I shove the river. So I guess it's better to bet small or check here because like I beat only 7-8, 6-8, 4 something, and I still lose to 10-8, to Queen 8, and to King 8. But yeah, I have to value bet here.
Anatoly
I
working
guess I have
working
to
it
value
out,
bet here.
really showing the sharpness of this young poker mind, realizing he does have the best hand here the vast majority of the time.
He's not just a Russian cartoon character, guys. He's also a very talented young poker player. And I like the sizing, too, reminiscent of his less than one-third pot bet earlier, just finding ways to get value.
It's a pretty thin value bet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it's necessary in this kind of matches. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't bluff this river, like check shoving bluff here in this stack size. So
awkward for Alexandre Lunea.
if he shoves, I suppose I'm gonna fold. But I'm still not sure. Maybe it's better to shove the river. Whatever. Just a thin value bet. Come on, let's do it, baby. 8K for Moscow Wolverines team. Let's go, Moscow Wolverines. Come on, guys. We're here in Moscow. The Russians are coming. And I have no idea what he has. I mean, like he starts to limping a lot, so and usually we both mute these boards, so I'd like to make the race on this board.
He can't help himself, ladies and gentlemen.
Because like most of the players, they don't block these boards, and I mean, like I would usually check fold here, and it means that I could have something, so I'm trying to represent that I have something on this board.
It's not a board you can really have anything this shallow. I think it's a bit of a mystery here. Lunea's a bit too good to fall for this. Would you agree?
And big turn card.
Check my flush draw.
Filatov turning a flush draw. Lunea turning
if he
2
here
player.
Like 12K, I would shove my flush draw. That's a good run out for me. The backdoor flush draw is always perfect. Come on, Alexander, let's bet it 10,000. 10K from Alexander. And here we go.
Filatov, very excited to have turned equity with
like
this holding.
Unfortunately, that equity.
Yeah, he'll definitely check it out.
Wow.
So
Lunea checking back the 2 pair.
I have
kings
the
up.
nuts.
Filatov would have check shoved and doubled up, and now
I would like to bet like 13,000.
It's gonna be.
And if he has 10,
an easy call for
he
Lunea,
would just call. But if he has 2 pair,
yeah, I mean,
or maybe king, he would call too. Okay, he calls.
Sense.
Bingo time! The Russian flush.
I mean, if your strategy is
so
to check raise 9-3, I think you can bet way bigger there.
Right.
Because you do actually get to the river with a lot of out-and-out bluffs.
Yeah.
If you're picking hands as random as 9-3, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then Filatov, his strategy means he gets a lot of bluffs. But what's important to point out is Lunea now on the back foot, just 10 big blinds, and Filatov in position for an unlikely victory. Remember, just Lunea got it in with a dominating hand for the win, 5s versus ace-3, but now it is the young Russian, the manager of the Moscow Wolverines, who could make his mark his GPL debut with a win.
I'm not that kind of guy. I would just shoving and shoving and shoving and shoving. Okay, I check. We have the trips. It seems like
I folded trips.
I would bet at 4K. I would bet at 4K. I'm trying to represent the trips. He would think like, oh, what is he trying to do? No, he's not playing against me. So it was a mistake. I guess he's trying to play his hand. That's Alexandre Lunea. He's trying to play his hand most of the time.
A bit cocky behavior here from someone who just got
okay, it's a 7
really
on
trapped.
the board, and the first 9 points. It's a 7 on the turn. It's a 9 on the river. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. No, that's a chop pot.
Ace
Chop
high
pot. Come on, guys. Let's
holds
chop.
up,
Full house.
and
No.
Leno
Ace high.
clawing his way back
Okay.
into things. Very delicately
Okay.
poised match, and you can see how much Filatov does want this win.
Okay. Now we continue playing. What's going on? He's raising. I have 3-5, so I hit the pair. If he bets, I shove. I have the backdoor, 2 backdoors, and the bottom pair. So, yeah, I have to gamble here. Even if he has an 8 or a 7, I could bust him easily because I'm lucky. The lucky.
And Leno does have some equity,
Whatever.
but he's not going to get to realize it.
I mean, like, his bet sizing seems to me looks weak, but if I start check calling here, he would find a lot of good boards, good turn cards to second barrel me, and if I wouldn't have enough equity, I would check fold. So that's why I decided just to shove to take the money. I do like the fast money. Oh, Alexandre, he's falling. That's not bad with a7. I mean, like, the shoving was okay too, but it is still okay. Okay, I'm trying to raise it up. Raise it up, baby. He's shoving again. Okay. Okay. He's shoving again. 7-4. He's gonna limp. I knew this. 7-4 here is the check call or
And now
check raise. But check
Filatov
raise
getting
is kind of
a
bluffing.
little bit better
So
run of cards. You know, flopping a little bit stronger than Leno, which was a feature of the beginning of this heads-up match. It was in the other direction. Leno flopping strongest most often. But this is a good card for Leno's hand and a good card for his range. So there's good chance we can expect a second barrel from the Frenchman.
But the second thing that he doesn't suppose me to fold a lot, so there are like, this is a coin to barrel me or to not. We have to bet here the king high. It's not good to check back with no equity. We still have the best hand most of the time on this board. I would like to raise it. He's calling me here, so this is 9,600.
And here you see the advantages
Pretty standard
of limp
c-bet.
calling rather
The small
than
ball, the well flopping hands, yep.
Pretty standard c-bet.
And Filatov
The king is
out on a
okay
limb
here.
with 3-8 offsuit high
I would like to.
and barreling.
Into the French abyss.
Here? Like this. Not a lot of sixes. Like 6-7 or some queens. A lot of queens. Queen jack, queen 10, queen 9, queen 8. Most of his hands are queens, so he would definitely
Nice breakdown there from Filatov.
Yeah, he
call
was.
the turn.
You could
If
see
he
his
has the
instincts
queen,
were
so
to
I would
fire
check
again
here.
on the turn, then breaking down the ranges, realizing how Queen X heavy,
Graftoning, as we call it.
how Queen X heavy Leno's limp calling range is, and deciding to surrender and wave the white flag on the turn. You know, showing that there's more to his game than just aggression.
Don't think he's making a lot of bluff stuff here. Yeah, but now I see in his 3-bet it was 7-5 hand, 7-5 offsuit. I felt that.
And Anatoly needs to rein in this just c-bet strategy.
That's not the board texture you ever want to be betting.
I wouldn't do anything with no equity. I mean, like, it's okay to make the second barrel here because he usually check calling some draws or some third pairs, bottom pairs, or something like that. But I just don't want to put my tournament life on the line. Oh yeah, he may bust it with his hand, so I would like to. Right now, the king queen. This is maybe we could check here
And you see
trying to
Lunea's
trap him.
doubled up almost,
That's
without an
not a
all-in,
bad
just
idea.
by winning these small
Yeah.
pots, by the C bets. When you're playing 20 big blind poker, giving away a blind on every flop is not a strategy which is going to lead to victory. And Lunea showing the strength of his post-flop game and has the Russian out-chipped 2-1.
My heads-up game in this matchup is not optimal. Maybe I just run bad boards.
And
Okay,
this
that's a
is
call
going to
for
be
me.
a call from
Okay.
Filatov.
Come on. No way.
Strong
Alex.
flop for
Alex gonna
Lunea.
take it.
Clubs required if Filatov's
Come
to survive.
on. It's an 8.
Two
It's an
eights in
8.
the deck.
No way. Bingo time. Bingo. It's a 6. Oh, congratulations to Alex. He played better than me in this heads up. I guess he deserves the win. And yeah,
GG Anatoly.
I didn't pick up a lot of good hands.
Congratulations to Alexandre Lunea of the Paris Aviators, extending their lead in the Eurasia Conference, which, of course, Laura and Eric will tell you about in a minute. But first of all, the star of the show, almost forcefully, but in that beautiful, crazy Russian way, Anatoly Filatov.
Yeah, we said at the top of the show that this is an eccentric character, an exciting character, someone, one of the youngest players to be selected as a team manager, which after all is a very prestigious position to have at that young age. And we can see why he was selected to be manager of the Moscow Wolverines. Not only is he exuberant in the way he talks about the game, he plays in a very exciting, dynamic manner. In this instance, heads up against Alexandre Lunea, I think it was the more controlled strategy of the Paris Aviator that came out on top. But, more to come from him today and going forward in the GPL. A great character to add to the roster of great characters we have at the GPL.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how the camera affects different people. You see how with for instance, with Filatov, constantly engaging, constantly talking, almost improving his thought process, where maybe at first he's trying to do something a little crazy, a little kooky to kind of mess with the flow of things, and then reining it in when he realizes, wait a minute, this guy has way too many queens. He doesn't have that many sixes, and the sixes he does, he probably won't fold. So just, he has a very, very smart brain, using it well. There's a reason why he's here in the GPL and representing the Moscow Wolverines. Great start for him. And Moscow's making some moves in that division.
Yeah, of course. And also one of the things we saw here is that there's many different ways to skin a cat. We saw Chris Moorman come out firing, accumulating a lot of chips, both with some strong hands and with some bluffs. Jeff Gross playing a very tight strategy whenever it was a close decision, elected to fold, but in the end came out with more points than Moorman did. And it shows that, there's different ways to approach things. And Jeff Gross, a very valuable 3 points without card distribution, particularly favoring the Berlin Bear.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a disappointing showing for Volter Treccarichi. Obviously, Celina is going to be disappointed with that kind of, introduction for her and the Hong Kong Stars. But, things didn't go her way. She lost some big flips, so no real surprise there. Just interesting, some interesting debutantes here.
And let's just say again, massive for the Paris Aviators. Already with 40 points, if Lunea puts up a performance again in the second match, they're going to be the first franchise to go through that 50 points mark and, really stretching away from the Hong Kong Stars in second place. So that's going to be a real feature of this second match. Alexandre Lunea, doing damage, beating San Martino, now winning a 6-max match. Maybe he's going to be one of the stars of this inaugural season.
Yeah, for sure. Guys at the booth. Where are the guys at the booth?
They're in the lounge.
They are totally in the lounge. They're lounging out. That's Eric Danny. This is Laura Cornelius. We'll see you soon.
We are in the lounge, indeed. Congratulations to Fabrice Soulier's side. The Paris Aviators, Alex Lunea, picking up some more points to extend their lead even further.
Fabrice jokingly tweeted out last week that he should just become the chef of the Paris Aviators and not play anymore. It's looking more and more that's a pretty good strategy by Fabrice, who's, by the way, a world-class player himself, a bracelet winner and someone who's been around for so long. So we just tease Fabrice a lot, and we do know him, so no insults here, Fabrice. But this is a wildcard pick. It's so unfair that Alex Lunea, known as a mixed games, high, nosebleed session mixed games player, is destroying the GPL. It might be unfair to the rest of the players in this league. He's that good.
We saw him play heads up, didn't we? And I think everyone was pretty impressed with him then, and continuing it into today.
Yeah, and as they should be. I mean, they shouldn't. We shouldn't be surprised by his performance here and the way that he dealt with that heads-up match against Anatoly. You know, losing the lead at one point, then gaining it back, but getting it back without any spectacular hands, Laura. Just grinding his way back. That shouldn't come to as any surprise.
We saw a little bit of Selena Lynn before that match started. We spoke to her. Obviously, she's going to be feeling a little bit annoyed with the 0 points there for the Stars.
Yeah, not the start that Hong Kong wanted. They've now lost their second place positioning. Moscow now the second place team. Boy, Moscow. Let's talk about Moscow. Not a ton was said about the team coming into the season, but look at them now. Second place with 40 points. Really in a good position right now. 12 points, ahead of the playoff cut down. So, boy, Moscow really looking good so far, and Anatoly Filatov, what a star.
Yeah, because he joined last week and helped to gain some points there. So Aviators on top, 7 points now between first and second. Wolverines looking to shorten that gap even more in that next 6 max, I imagine. Hong Kong Stars on 37 now in third place. They've dropped 1 spot.